Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Chase.
Hello. I am Jesse Chase.
And husband and wife team, we are the Chase clan. Today we wanted to talk about why we went vegan. We just opened up our vegan Facebook group where we're going to be sharing lots of mostly his recipes because he's the cook. So we started a Facebook group where we're going to share recipes and different tips and tricks for new vegans and people who are transitioning or people who just want meatless Mondays because that's a really great trend.
Or good recipes.
Or good recipes. Because you know what? A lot of things are like surprise vegan. You wouldn't have even known. Today we wanted to talk about how we got on this journey because neither one of us was even close to vegan. I mean, meat every day and dairy and cheese, all the cheese things. So those of you who are already parents, you probably know this, but your kids tend to be your biggest teachers. You know, they teach you patience or teach you that you need to try and be more patient. You know, our son gets us out in nature more because he loves to be outside. And he's the whole reason we went vegan. It's a different take. People start for different reasons. They either start for health reasons or for the environment or just for the compassion and for the animals. We started out of convenience. Well, at least I started out of convenience. I'm doing most of the talking because I went vegan first. He followed, so he'll tell his little story.
Un momento.
Un momento. We will wait for the Jesse to share his story. So, long story short, when Brayden was weaning off of breastfeeding, he tried cow's milk at a friend's house. Well, during a play date, you know, we weren't even close to trying that yet, but he took her bottle and decided to try it, and he spit it out. And I don't mean just like little dribbles down his face. He like projectile spit the milk. It was spit out with force and with intention. So that got me thinking, and I'd already been doing a little bit research with dairy and things like that since we were transitioning out of breastfeeding. But the real thing was with the eating. He would eat fruits and vegetables like nobody's business. Like every day, chowing down fruits and vegetables. But every time we tried to prepare meat, it was hit or miss. He would either straight up refuse it, spit it out. He would eat like my mom's hamburgers twice a month, and that was most of his meat intake, if anything. And our first pediatrician kept trying to push it and kept saying, he needs meat, he needs meat, he needs meat. And I was so frustrated trying all these different things. I just said, you know what, enough. He's eating fruits and vegetables. I need to look into this because he's missing out on nutrition by not eating the meat, and I'm not replacing it with anything. So I researched, I had all the typical questions. What about protein? Where's all the protein? Is it enough protein? How's he going to get his protein? Now that we're in it, protein is the least of our worries. You know, we're trying to bulk up. We'll try and be a little bit more intentional with where our protein is coming from, how we can add just a little bit more, which is super easy. Like, just sprinkle hemp seeds on it.
Dark leafy greens.
Dark leafy greens, beans, nuts, seeds, grains.
Beans.
Everything has protein in it. It's just about how you prepare it. Anywho, we'll get to all that another time. So he started to eat vegan food because he was getting all of his nutrition. I was tracking it on Chronometer because I tend to obsess. And I wanted to make sure that we were doing a good job. We were tracking his progress, and I am not a cook. And if you don't know me personally, you will figure this out because I talk about it constantly. I'm a little bit better now that it's vegan food because most of it can be eaten raw, so nobody's getting sick. But I mean, I burnt water at one point. I'm like, that's my cooking skills. And I don't enjoy being in the kitchen either, so that's another big thing. So out of convenience, when he was at work, I did not want to make 2 meals. I just didn't want to do it. So I was eating what Brayden was eating. And things started to shift with my health. I had a lot of chronic conditions that I thought were just part of my life. I thought they were just, genetic or a crapshoot or whatever. But they started to go away. And the more I realized this and the more I researched it, the more I wanted to go full vegan. I was still putting creamer in my coffee in the morning. So I talked to him, and we decided to try it for 2 weeks, full vegan, and just to see how we would feel and what we would do. So, again, if you don't know me, I'm a little bit go hard or go home. So there was no, easing into it. It was, boom, Eating vegan food, that's it. We're gonna get a little bit TMI here, just a little bit. I will give you a heads up if you're transitioning.
Mhm.
Be prepared. I thought I was dying the first week because my body cleansed. My body cleansed hardcore. So stay hydrated. You know, if you have shakes, drink your shakes and prepare. Once that's all done, because your body's holding on to things it no longer has to hold on to with vegan food, so it's pushing it out. It's getting rid of it. It's saying, hey, I don't need this anymore. You know, and for different things. So just be prepared for that. Anywho, week 2, I felt fantastic. Issues that I've had my entire life started to go away. My monthly cycle was extremely painful, and he can accredit to that. You know, day 1, I was pretty much just in bed. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. It was in so much like doubled over pain. They thought I had endo. Curl up in a ball. They thought I had endo. It turns out I do not. And I think what it was the dairy. I think I had an intolerance, and I just didn't realize it. So it would cause some inflammation, and that is why it was so extremely painful. Sinus infections, I would get them every time the season changed, without fail. I had to take medication and all that. I haven't taken a Z-Pack in 2 years. And doctor's visits are less and less, and just overall health, you know, digestion is awesome. Everything. So when the 2 weeks were over, I decided to stick with it. He decided to be vegan in the home to kind of help us out. And for about 6 months. Something like that ish. Yeah. He was vegan, not vegan, outside the home. So when we visited my parents or went on vacation, he was not the vegan. But that changed. Da 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 da.
I was raised on a farm. We had, I'd eat like 5 or 6 eggs for breakfast with bacon, hash browns, little tiny bit of hash browns, or toast, lots of butter. Gross. We had mainly a chicken farm, so it was chicken like 6 days out of 7. I was raised on meat. I mean, we also had a vegetable patch. I loved vegetables as a kid. I used to eat fresh vegetables all the time. And it's kind of funny because my son was the same way. He loved his fresh vegetables. We tried to get him to eat meat, like Sarah said, but he didn't. So the first 6 months, I pretty much didn't eat chicken, beef, or pork. Struggled with dairy. Cheese was the hardest. Cheese is hard. And I'd eat fish here and there when it was offered. But aside from that, it was, for the most part, vegan.
Yeah, especially at home, because we weren't buying that stuff.
I wasn't bringing it in the house. I did respect that part. So it's been about 1.5 years, and I feel a lot better. I'm type 1 diabetic.
What was that one defining moment?
I was at work one day, and somebody I know that I've known most of my life, who's also a type 1 diabetic, just happened to be shopping. I had no idea it was him. I knew it happened, but he was in the aisle shopping and had a heart attack right in the middle of the aisle. Now, this person never took his health seriously. Anyway, he had a heart attack in the aisle, and he was pronounced dead before arriving at the hospital, and they were able to resuscitate him, and it scared the crap out of me.
Me too.
Being diabetic, the number one concern of all my doctors is my heart. I have gotten great reviews from my cholesterol and my heart, but I'd rather not take the chances.
So for those of you who don't know a ton about type 1 diabetes versus type 2 diabetes,
I am insulin dependent.
Meaning he has to take a shot before every meal and consistently check his sugar. So his pancreas
does not do anything but take up space right now.
It just went kaput. Kablooey. But my biggest concern is those who are diabetic, they have a 60% higher chance of heart attack and heart failure. Even when you're younger, age is not as much of a factor with diabetes. So that is why health for him is important to me, because I kind of need him around. He was diagnosed a lot later in life. This happened when Braden was 4 months old. He had gained a lot of weight, and if you're looking at my husband right now, he eats a ton of food. So much food, nobody knows where it goes because he's just his metabolism. Yeah, and yeah, you would not know how much this kid could eat right here. Kid. But during my pregnancy, he gained weight. And everybody was kind of joking around that, you know, it was adorable and he was having a sympathy pregnancy and how cute. And we were so in sync that, you know, because I was getting bigger, he was getting bigger. Well, when Brayden was 4 months old, he got severely sick, which is unusual for him.
A really bad case of bronchitis.
Really bad case of bronchitis, but he was throwing up, which for me was super red flag.
Yeah, I don't throw up.
He doesn't throw up, ever. So parenting. Jesse had to go plug in Brayden's Kindle. So when he got that severely sick, you know, it was a super red flag, and I was like, you need to go to the doctors because you're never this sick. And we went, and the doctor asked us, you know, is he diabetic? And we just kind of laughed because our version of diabetic was type 2. And I kept looking at him, and I'm like, no, he's a young guy, you know, and my grandfather was type 2 diabetic, so I had this vision in my head of what that was supposed to look like. Said he needs to go and get blood work done. And I'm so glad we listened because his sugar had spiked, I think it was over 600, which is supposed to be right around like 100, 125, if that gives you any sort of. And he doesn't remember most of the hospital. He was in and out of consciousness, which was really scary. He didn't always know where he was. He's basically on the brink of a coma. And that was really scary for us, and it was so severe, and everything happened so fast. And I'm super proud of him, because this is not something I ever imagined him doing. You know, especially when he was first diagnosed, he did not take his health seriously, and that really scared me, because, as he said, like, the guy having a heart attack, you know, that's it for that person. And if Jesse were to have one, I don't know what I would do if something happened to him, because I have our young son. He's now 4, and that idea to me is horribly scary. So I am so proud that he decided to cut out a ton of cholesterol, and, you know, now he's taking it even more seriously and starting to exercise more with me, which is fantastic, because that's going to help his heart, that's going to help his circulation, so it's good for his limbs, that's good for his appendages. You know, another big risk with diabetes is blood clots and actually like losing limbs and things like that. It's really scary. And he went home, and I will always remember this. This is how seriously he took it. We got home, and his sugar was still really high. It was like 400. They had brought it down a little bit. And he poured himself a cup of juice. And I took away that juice. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind.
My mind. Blood sugar was so high. I was in...
You know, and he takes it much more seriously now, you know, his health and now your fitness, and I'm so excited.
I just decided to cut it all out. We did the research, found that by cutting it out, I greatly reduced my risk of heart disease or heart failure. And overall immune system boosts, things like that. It just makes sense. And I feel great. And it's given me a whole lot of new things to cook with.
Yes. That's how we got started on the vegan lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
We found out so many things along the way. There are little sneaky things that are not vegan that we're going to be sharing in the group. Probably weekly. We'll just pick something that's like, hey, did you know that? Because now you know. We do it, the more thankful we are that we are vegan and that we're not taking part in some of the horrible things that happen to the animals around the world. You know, we even want a pet pig. I want a pet pig so bad. So bad. I want a little pet pig. I'm so excited. Like, when we buy a house, first animal we get is pet pigs. It's a condition in the houses that we look at that it has to be zoned for farm animals so I can have a pet pig.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're adorable, and they're smart.
They are.
They are. They have the intelligence of a 3-year-old child. Fun fact of the day. Every Monday, we'll take the questions that are asked over the weekend and answer them in a video format. So anything about different nutrients or, you know, different brands that you want to try, things like that. Anything you'd like to add?
Cooking tips.
Cooking tips. Yes, we'll have cooking tips coming up from the Jessie. I have little quick tips sometimes too because I make mistakes in the kitchen. I learned the hard way. Like sweet potatoes leak.
They leak a lot.
They leak a lot. So unless you have a pan under them, you have to clean the stove. So yeah, subscribe to us here on YouTube. And we will also share this in our vegan group. If you are not in the vegan group, we are going to leave the link in the description below. So I hope everybody has a fantastic Sunday, and we will talk to you soon. Bloopers. Blooper reel. It's happening. We're doing it live. Not really, we're doing it and then we're editing it because that's awesome. Okay, ready? Round 2. We can help and bleh. We can help and encourage each other.
There's a frog in there.
There's a frog. There's a snake in my boots.
A snake, I think I see a snake.
Mushroom.
Snow and wind.
Typical New England.
Put a sail on your car. Save
In the
gas.
same week, we've had a thunderstorm and snow. And we're husband and wife, if you haven't. Blah, see?
Told you.
Um,
That and I hate chicken. I hate it. Drink the Kool-Aid.
we're not serving vegan Kool-Aid, by the way, by any means. I'm gonna say that a little bit better. We're doing it. We're doing it. I'm bad video taker. Many takes. Many takes. I will get better.
Okay.
Okay. High five, honey.
Bam.
Bam. Now on to your regularly scheduled programming.
Boop.